Have you ever opened your eyes after a dream and felt like the dream was more real than the world you woke up to? A dream so vivid, so alive, that its images clung to your heart even as the sun rose. Sometimes, you find yourself lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, unable to shake the strange, powerful feeling that what you saw was not just your imagination, but something greater. What if those dreams were not illusions at all, but whispers from the universe, carefully woven into the fabric of your nights, guiding you toward the truth of who you are? There are dreams that speak like teachers, dreams that hold a mirror to your soul, and dreams that arrive only when you are ready to hear their message. These are not ordinary dreams, the kind that fade away with the morning coffee, but sacred messages, like letters delivered by the unseen hand of Spirit. And when they come to you, they carry with them a weight, a presence that makes you feel chosen, not by chance, but by destiny. To walk a path that very few dare to follow. Because some dreams are more than dreams. They are doors. They are revelations. They are proof that your soul is awake, listening, and deeply connected to something far greater than this fleeting world. The universe speaks to you when you sleep, and if you are listening, it will guide you toward the awakening you have always been searching for. These dreams appear only to those who are ready, only to those who have reached a point where their soul can no longer be distracted by illusions, but longs for truth. If you have ever felt the call of such a dream, the kind that shakes you, comforts you, and awakens something ancient inside of you, know this: you are not alone. You are one of the chosen ones, and the universe has been waiting for you to finally pay attention. 1. The empty city. Imagine yourself walking down a street, a street you have walked many times in your waking life, yet in this dream something feels different. The air is heavy. The silence is almost alive, and as your footsteps echo against the walls, you realize that you are utterly alone. The shops are there. The windows are still shining with reflections. The lamps are standing tall, but no voices are heard. Number footsteps cross your path. It is as if the whole world has disappeared and left you wandering in the shell of what once was. At first, this silence may feel unsettling, even frightening, because you are so used to noise, to movement, to the presence of others. And when all of that vanishes, you are left facing only yourself. But in truth, this dream is not a punishment. It is a gift, a sacred mirror held up by your soul, showing you that you are no longer meant to be lost in the crowd, no longer meant to chase after the illusions that once defined your sense of belonging. The empty city is not a place of lost. It is a space of awakening, the very moment when your spirit whispers that you are ready to step away from the noise, to detach from what no longer nourishes you, and to walk towards something higher. It shows you that all the roles you have played, all the expectations you have carried, all the masks you once wore to fit in with the world, these are falling away, leaving you with the quiet truth of who you really are. And though the silence feels vast, though the absence of people feels strange, in that emptiness you discover a freedom. The freedom of not needing to prove yourself, not needing to perform, not needing to seek validation from anyone outside of you. The dream invites you to trust that this emptiness is not the end, but the beginning, because only when the streets of illusion are cleared can the road to truth be revealed. Perhaps you have felt this space before, even when awake. The quiet moment when you suddenly realize you do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to win approval. You do not need to chase after what others are chasing, because deep inside, you are already whole. This is what the empty city is asking you. Can you stand in the silence of your own being, without fear, without distraction, and allow yourself to simply be? 2. The endless staircase. You find yourself standing at the foot of a staircase that stretches into the unknown. its steps spiraling upward into a sky that seems endless. And as you lift your foot to begin, there is a quiet knowing inside you that this climb is not just a movement of the body, but a journey of the soul. With every step you take, the silence grows deeper and the air feels lighter, as if each movement upward is carrying not only your body, but also the weight of your doubts, your fears, and your long-forgotten burdens, gently dissolving into the open sky. And yet, the staircase never ends. Step after step, you rise higher. But the top does not reveal itself, and instead of despair, you begin to notice that the beauty lies not in reaching the end, but in feeling the sacred rhythm of each step beneath your feet. The mind whispers, "When will I arrive? When will this be over?" But the heart softly responds, "The journey itself is the temple. The act of walking is already the prayer. And every breath you take on this path is the awakening you have been seeking." There are moments when your legs feel heavy, when doubt tells you that you will never reach the top, and in those moments, a quiet truth emerges. You are not climbing for the destination. You are climbing because the climb itself transforms you. Each step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. Even the step where you pause, where you almost give up, but continue anyway, that step holds as much power as the greatest leap forward, because it carries the courage of persistence. And perhaps this staircase is not outside of you at all, but within your very being. Each step an unfolding of your own consciousness. Each upward movement a deepening into your true self. Each breath on this climb a reminder that awakening is not found at the top, but in the sacred act of walking. Can you trust this process, even when your eyes cannot see the summit? Can you surrender to the mystery, even when the end is hidden? Because in truth, the staircase is eternal, and eternity has no destination. It only has the unfolding of this moment. The endless staircase is not a punishment. It is a reminder that growth never ends, and if you can fall in love with the step you are on, if you can hold the present as sacred, then the climb itself will become freedom. So you continue, one step, one breath, one heartbeat at a time, not chasing an end, but living the journey. And as you climb, you realize that you have already arrived, because the path itself is the awakening you were searching for. 3. Flying or floating. Have you ever had that dream when suddenly, without warning, your feet no longer touch the ground, and instead of walking, you begin to rise, slowly at first, then higher and higher, until you are soaring through the sky, as if gravity itself has let go of you? In that dream, there is no effort, no struggle. You don't flap your arms or fight against the air. You simply float, as though the universe itself is carrying you upward with invisible hands. It is a feeling so pure, so liberating, that for a moment you forget everything about who you are. And all that remains is this boundless space where you are free to go anywhere, without walls, without ceilings, without limits. This dream of flying is not just an illusion of the mind. It is a whisper from your soul, reminding you that your spirit has always been free, even when your body feels heavy and bound to the earth. When you rise in your dream, you are also rising above the chains of fear, the weight of doubt, the walls of limitation that you once believed defined you. It is the quiet voice of your higher self saying, you are not the cage you live in. You are not the fear that grips you. You are not even the story you've told yourself again and again. Are more, infinitely more. And your soul knows this truth each time you float above the earth in your dreams. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly free? So free that the air around you seemed lighter, the world seemed wider, and your heart beat without carrying any burden? Perhaps it was a simple moment, like walking in the early morning when the streets were empty, and for a brief instant you felt as though nothing could touch you. Or maybe it was when you laughed so deeply with someone you loved that your body felt lighter, as if joy itself had lifted you into the air. That feeling, that essence of flight dot, is your soul reminding you that the truest freedom does not come from escaping the world, but from rising above the weight of your own mind. Every time you dream of flying, the universe is giving you a mirror, showing you that your essence is not bound to the ground, but destined to expand, to reach, to transcend. And so I ask you, when your spirit whispers to you in these dreams, will you allow yourself to listen, to believe, and to carry that freedom into your waking life? Because true freedom, the kind you feel in the air of your dreams, is not far away, it is already within you, waiting for you to let go of fear and finally rise. 4. The radiant light. You stand before a light so bright, so pure, that it feels as though the universe itself has paused in reverence. And in that stillness, the brilliance washes over you, not just touching your skin, but reaching deep into the places within you that had long been hidden in shadow. This light is not harsh, it does not burn, but instead, it comforts like a mother's embrace, like the warmth of the sun after a storm, and the longer you gaze at it, the more you feel that this light does not belong to something separate. It is whispering to you that you are part of it. At times, the light seems to take shape, as though a being made of purity itself has stepped forward to meet you, its outline fluid, shifting between a person, an angel, and pure brilliance without form. And other times, it appears simply as raw brilliance, too vast to be contained in any image, a horizon of endless illumination that stretches beyond thought, making you feel both so small and yet profoundly infinite at once. In your heart, something stirs, as though this vision is not random but a divine confirmation, a message whispered from beyond that you are not lost, you are not walking blindly. There is guidance here, unseen but ever present. And though you may not see the steps clearly in your waking life, this dream reminds you that you are being held, carried, and gently led toward where you need to be, even if your eyes cannot yet recognize the way. What is most profound is the realization that this light is not something outside of you, not a foreign presence, not a distant god in the sky, that it lives inside, buried beneath layers of doubt, fear, and forgetfulness. The dream dissolves the illusion of separation, showing you that you have always carried this brilliance in your soul. And what you are seeing is simply yourself reflected back in its purest form. What if the light you saw was not a visitor, not a sign of something far away, but actually your own awakened soul, finally shining back at you with clarity so undeniable that you could no longer turn away from it? Imagine the courage of your own soul to reveal itself in this way, breaking through the veil of dreams just to remind you of your true nature, a nature that is boundless, luminous, and eternal. And as you wake, the memory of this light lingers like an echo, a gentle call that says, you are more than this body, more than these struggles, more than the stories you have carried. At your core, you are light itself. 5. Standing by the ocean. You are standing at the edge of an endless ocean, the vast horizon stretching before you, the air heavy with salt and silence, as if time itself has stopped just for you to witness this moment. The waves rise and fall, in a rhythm older than memory, carrying with them the whispers of eternity, each crest and crash echoing the heartbeat of the universe itself. In this endless expanse, you feel both small and infinite, as if your body belongs to the shore, but your soul belongs to the horizon that knows no end. The ocean is not only water. It is consciousness itself, flowing without beginning, without end, a mirror of your own boundless spirit. Each wave that touches the shore is a reminder that nothing is separate, that even the smallest drop belongs to the vastness, just as you belong to the great flow of life. The horizon stretches forever, and as you gaze into it, you realize that it is not a place to be reached, but a truth to be remembered. That your essence, too, is limitless. The call of the ocean is the call of your own soul, reminding you that you are not bound by the smallness of fear, but carried by the vastness of being. You feel the pull, gentle yet undeniable, an invitation to let go of control, to surrender the illusion that you must always steer, and instead allow the current of existence to guide you. The ocean asks nothing from you but trust. And in that trust, you discover freedom. The freedom of being carried exactly where you need to go, without resistance, without fear. In this silence, you may ask yourself, can you trust the ocean of life, the boundless current of consciousness, to carry you gently, perfectly, to the place your soul is meant to be? The longer you stand there, the more you realize that the ocean is not outside of you. It is within you, and every wave that moves before your eyes is the movement of your own eternal nature. 6. Ruins and broken houses. In dreams, when you walk through ruins, when the walls are crumbling and the windows are shattered, do not be afraid. These broken structures are not symbols of despair, but invitations from your soul to see what must fall away so something new can be born. Every ruin whispers to you, this is the end of what can no longer hold you, the end of what has already served its purpose. Like a tree that must shed its leaves so spring can come, your soul allows the old foundations to collapse. Have you noticed that in dreams, the silence of abandoned houses is not empty. It is full of echoes, full of memory, full of life that once was? It shows you that endings are never final. They are doorways, waiting for you to step through. When you see broken windows, it is your soul's way of saying, the view you once had no longer fits the vast horizon of your becoming. The glass breaks so that you may see more clearly beyond the limitations you once accepted as truth. Every collapse in your dream mirrors a rebirth in your waking life. What looks like destruction in the dream world is simply a clearing of space in the heart, making room for the life you have not yet stepped into. Sometimes you may walk among ruins and feel sadness, a sense of loss, as though you are mourning something you cannot name. But if you listen closely, beneath that sadness is freedom, the freedom of knowing that you are no longer bound to what could not stand. These ruins in your dream are not here to frighten you. They are here to remind you, you are strong enough to begin again, to rebuild, to create with clearer eyes and steadier hands. The past is the rubble, but you are the builder of what comes next. Think of how the earth itself moves. Mountains rise, then crumble, only to form again. In the same way, your soul allows what no longer serves you to fall, so that a stronger, truer foundation may emerge beneath your feet. So I ask you, as you reflect on these dreams of ruins and broken houses, what old structures in your life are asking to be released? What beliefs, what habits, what fears have grown too fragile to carry you forward? The dream is not about endings. The dream is about beginnings disguised as endings. The ruins are not a graveyard. They are a garden waiting to be planted. The broken walls are not barriers. They are open gates through which your future self is calling you. 7. Being chased but never caught. There are nights when you find yourself running endlessly, your legs heavy, your breath shallow, your heart pounding as though it is about to break through your chest. And behind you something unknown gives chase. Dark, faceless, shapeless, yet so terrifying that you do not dare to look back, as if the very act of turning around would destroy you. But no matter how fast you run, or how close the shadow seems, it never reaches you. It lingers just behind, like a mist that threatens to swallow you but never does, as though it feeds only on the illusion of your fear and cannot touch the real essence of who you are. This dream is not a punishment, nor is it a curse. It is a message, whispered gently through the fabric of sleep, that what you fear is not as real as it pretends to be. Fear is only a phantom, a trick of the mind, and when you awaken, you see clearly that it never truly had power over you. You are always one step ahead because your spirit, even when you forget, even when you feel weak, is stronger than the shadows that try to chase you. Your inner light moves faster than darkness. Your soul vibrates at a frequency that fear can never hold. And the more you awaken, the more you realize that fear does not run after you. It runs from you, because each time you turn to face it, it shrinks, it trembles, it loses its grip, and you begin to understand that you were never truly the one being chased. Awakening means seeing that the monster you thought was outside has always been inside your own mind, created by your doubts, by your pain, by the stories you tell yourself when you forget who you really are. And when you awaken, you stop running and start walking in peace. Imagine yourself standing still in that dream. Your heart still racing, but your feet planted firmly on the ground. And you turn, and the shadow that once felt terrifying now appears hollow, transparent, powerless, like smoke dissipating in the wind. And you realize it was never real. The lesson is not to run faster, but to stop running, to breathe, to trust that no shadow can overtake the light of your being. And in that stillness, you awaken to the truth that your fears have only the power you give them. So I ask you gently, with the same compassion the dream is asking, what fear are you ready to stop running from today? What shadow will you choose to turn toward, not to fight, but to recognize as nothing more than a passing dream? 8. Meeting a wise guide. In the stillness of night, when the ordinary mind has softened and the noise of the world has dissolved, sometimes a figure appears in the dream. An old teacher, a wandering monk, or even a stranger with eyes that seem to see through the layers of time. This figure does not come to entertain you, nor to frighten you. It comes as a mirror, a messenger, carrying the voice of wisdom that you may have forgotten but has never left you. Perhaps they place a hand on your shoulder, or perhaps they simply gaze into your eyes. And in that gaze, words are unnecessary, because you feel with every part of your being that they know you more deeply than you have ever known yourself. Some people wake and believe the guide was an angel. Others say it was a past master. But in truth, this figure is none other than the shape your own wisdom has chosen to take, so that you may recognize it. The voice that whispers in the dream is not from outside. It is the echo of your own awakened self, speaking through symbols, so that you might finally hear what you have always known. And isn't it mysterious how truth sometimes cannot reach us in the brightness of day, but slips in quietly through the language of dreams when the mind has lowered its walls? If you have ever woken with a phrase ringing in your heart, or a teaching you cannot explain but feels older than the earth itself, you have met this inner guide. The question is not whether the guide exists, but whether you can trust that whisper, whether you can soften enough to listen and allow it to lead you where the rational mind dares not go. Because to trust that guide is to trust yourself. Not the small self bound by fear, but the vast self that has walked through countless lifetimes, gathering wisdom like rivers gather rain. And perhaps, if tonight you close your eyes with gentleness, you too may meet this companion of the soul. Who is not other than you, reminding you that you were never truly lost. Dreams are not random. They are not meaningless flashes of the mind. No, they are sacred conversations between your soul and the vast universe, a secret dialogue that unfolds in symbols, visions, and whispers when the world outside grows silent. Each dream carries a thread of guidance. Each image is like a seed planted in the soil of your consciousness, waiting for the right moment to blossom into understanding. If you pause, if you pay attention, if you honor them not as accidents, but as sacred letters from beyond, then you will discover they are maps. Maps leading you toward the life your spirit has been longing to live. And so, my friend, I invite you tonight to keep a small journal by your bed, a humble book that will become a sacred mirror, waiting to receive the fragments of your soul's nightly journey. When you wake, write down what you see, what you feel, even the fragments that seem small or strange, because often the smallest detail holds the greatest truth. Then, when the sun has risen, sit with those dreams in stillness. Let them rest in your heart. And in meditation, you will feel how their meaning slowly opens like a lotus blooming in morning light. For the more you listen, the more clearly the universe speaks, and the voice you hear will not sound foreign. It will sound like the deepest part of yourself finally remembering who you are. If this message has touched your heart, if some part of you feels called to awaken more deeply, then I invite you to share your dreams in the comments below, because what you carry inside may also bring light to another traveler walking this same path. And if you wish to continue walking on this road of awakening with me, then don't forget to stay connected. Like, subscribe, and return here, so we may keep listening together to the voice that speaks through silence. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. You are never abandoned, for your soul was chosen to awaken, chosen to remember, chosen to rise like the moon among the stars. And tonight, as you close your eyes, may you feel the blessing of that truth. You are not lost. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And the universe is whispering, always whispering, your name.